Project G Forum presents the Gcast. Hi guys, and welcome to episode 54 of the Gcast. I'm Tyson, known as Kanaye on the forums, and I'm with Astro.
Hello.
The Sarge.
Good evening.
And No There. What the
Why are we pausing?
Because I'm not important.
It's a next gen episode, so jumping right
I guess you really aren't important.
He did say he was not important, so I skipped right
But
ahead.
see, that's your opportunity to encourage him and say, no, you really do matter, not to crush his soul by just skipping over him as if we're not there.
Well, this is a Gcast, so this is randomized.
This is supposed to be a collaboration, you know?
I've been on this website since before there even was a forum. Get on my level.
And that's why you don't get an introduction. You don't get an introduction. But anyway, it's a next gen episode. Before we start the formal discussion, I just want to know which consoles have you, if you had the money, would you buy? Who wants to start?
Okay. Should I start again?
Take-
Fine. If I had the money / interest, I'd probably get a PS4.
Okay, No There?
I would probably spend the money on the credit card bill. But yeah, PS4 looks okay.
Astro?
PlayStation 4 because of the price difference and the competitive range of titles that are on the way. Like this, it's not a cut and dry one or the other to me. So I probably will go PS4 because of the price. If not, I would have gone Xbox One, but barely.
Yeah, price is definitely a factor for me, but even so, I still would like to buy an Xbox One, but money will be tight, so I'm gonna have to stop for maybe get into it next year, maybe the year after. I don't know. There's still a lot of content to enjoy from this generation, so I think I'm good if I stay on 360 and PS3 for a few more years. So, what do you guys think of the launch window? Like, the games that are coming out both for PS4 and Xbox One?
I think there's none of them. That's what I think.
Yeah, pretty much. That's one thing I noticed. Most of the games are multi-platform. What is this shit?
Yeah. And the multi-platform games are also on the current gen consoles. So what's the point?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's-
they're better graphics, you know. I don't really feel like spending $400 on a console for better graphics.
Yeah.
Well, I spent $1,000 on a PC for better graphics, so...
If I had that kind of money, I would, pay for sex, okay? So,
Ooh. Gcast R-rated. This is probably...
Well, if you go to Nevada, you can do that legally.
it was a joke. It's a joke.
I'm just saying, if that's your
Screw legal.
preferred method, or
Yeah,
whatever.
why would you want to do it legally?
Yeah, I can get it cheaper.
Yeah, exactly.
Not to incriminate myself.
How about the sex scene in Canada?
I plead the fifth.
Is
You
it
guys
legal in
don't have a
Canada?
fifth in Canada.
Oh
You
god
can't
damn
plead
it!
the fifth when the fifth explicitly is about America.
Well,
I guess
Yeah,
I'm going
you
to prison.
I don't know what your version of like the White House is, but I imagine that when you walk into it, there's just like a jar of maple syrup instead of a constitution.
Probably.
oh my god.
We stand on guard for the jar of maple syrup.
Oh gosh.
It's guarded by Mounties 24/7.
Anyway,
Yeah, it's I was wondering that about what was it? So yeah, games being multi-platform. At least no, they're saying that he wouldn't putting up the cash for better graphics and then start saying that, I guess in a way.
Well, and the thing with having the PC is that there was a strong tendency last gen for games that were exclusive in terms of consoles to the Xbox to also come out for PC. I mean, the only major exception really was the Halo franchise. They made Halo 1 and 2 eventually into PC ports, but since then they haven't. But apart from that, pretty much everything has also come out on PC at one point or another. And now that I have myself a nice gaming rig based on past trends, which I expect to hold true, there's not a whole lot of a selling point as far as the Xbox One is concerned with me, apart from the continuation of the Halo franchise, which has not been so great its past few outings compared to its first two. So that alone doesn't merit dropping $500.
What about the Kinect? Don't you want to Kinect? Come on.
Oh yeah, I want to play Dance Central 5 or however the fuck many they've made.
Let's watch.
If they make a Dance Central now, it will be the fourth one. Or,
Oh, okay.
Why do you know this?
because I
Because I
owned
like to
a Kinect,
dance.
but
Oh, that's. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
well, I do
Uh,
believe in the
I'm
technology.
sorry
Like
for your
it can
loss.
be done for so much more than what was shown on this generation, but the Xbox itself held it back.
No, it cannot. It's
Yeah, it can
it's-
totally,
really-
monitor your
it
heart
really-
rate and scan your retina and
It's
do all kinds of creepy shit.
Transmit to the NSA, all that good stuff. But no, I don't think. I mean, just because it works better now doesn't mean it can do anything more.
There-
That's my opinion.
Somewhere,
I think that it's not. There's no legitimate games are ever going to use the Kinect seriously.
somewhere,
I think apart from small,
Let
there
him
might
talk.
be a possibility for like small functions within games that might have good Kinect use. But yeah, as like a main feature, no.
The thing is
Okay, you can
that
talk now.
the Kinect was introduced very late
Right.
in this. In
Too
the-
late.
Wait, what? Okay, I'm just waiting here to know there.
interception. So I was just gonna say, like, somewhere deep within the Pentagon, there's an NSA agent masturbating furiously to Just Dance. And that is the problem with Kinect.
Or like Star Wars Kinect.
He's like,
like,
oh, pale
yeah,
nerds.
tell me about
Just
Han
what I
Solo,
wanted.
yeah.
Oh, you guys!
Swing that lightsaber, babe.
That is his fetish. 15 to 29-year-old pale nerds.
Who do you think works at the NSA?
That
don't
would be
even know.
30 to 40-year-old pale nerds.
I don't
They
even
were
want to know at this point.
They were back then when the first Star Wars came. So I think.
By the way, just you were saying that, Kanaye, that you were saying that, yeah, you guys were saying that there's a whole thing with, well, why should you buy a console at launch? Well, actually, I'm never an early adopter, and the reason is because if you let all the idiots buy first, then they'll be the testing ground for all the shitty hardware, and then not only that, but yeah, it's right, it's true. Like you'll get some up-res ports, or you'll get like ports that look pretty good, but are not showing even nearly what the console can do. So there's that. I usually buy a couple years in, but this time I'll probably buy it next year. But what I want is I will buy it once Infamous comes out, for sure.
When does that one supposed to come out?
Spring 2014.
Okay. What I was about to say is that the problem with the developers developing the Kinect was that it was introduced very late in the 360's life cycle. So, yeah, mostly has been relegated as a gimmick, but if the Kinect is not successful with the Xbox One, then yeah, I would be worried about the potential of the technology right there.
I think it'll be successful. I just don't think that it has the potential to be a serious, for any sort of serious applications. I don't think. I mean, like, look at the Mass Effect 3 usage of the Kinect. where it's like, oh, if you say the line, then Shepard will say it again right after you fucking said it. Wow,
Right,
this
it
is
takes more time to
fantastic.
use the Kinect while you're playing the game than does to press the buttons. It's less efficient.
To be honest, I usually spam, or not spam, but just yelled
Although
reload
playing Mass
instead of
Effect in the
just.
first place is kind of a mistake. So
I guess I did.
Or
I
like-
did notice that Astro said something that put me to think about early adopters. Come to think of it, I've never been an early adopter. I think the closest was me owning a Nintendo 64, and I think that was in 1997. Other than that, I don't recall ever just lining up on really or getting the launch window of the consoles. Like PS3, I bought it in 2008. The Xbox in 2009. Like 3-4 years after they had come out. What's your story in regards to the?
right. Yeah, I didn't get a PS1 until '97. Didn't get an Xbox till 2003.
Bought it for
But I
fun,
did get
basically.
a 360 3 months after it launched, because I was a fan of its launch lineup, and it was pretty good, but the hardware was just garbage. I'm on my fourth 360.
That sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like after 2, I would have given up.
Well, I managed to get all the ones that I've had either for free or for not a whole lot of money. So that's the only reason. If it, for example, would have cost me, the full retail price to replace any one of them, I wouldn't have done it. But the first one was fixed for free. The second one cost me nothing but the shipping. The third one I actually bought for $75 from someone I knew. And then the fourth one I actually bought using a giant collection of gift cards that I had accumulated over the years. But if it breaks
no,
again, not replacing it.
understand. But no, I think the real thing I like about the PS4 is just that interview with Cerny, where he talked about how his goal for the PS4 was to in order to actually code an engine for the console, it takes a severely shorter amount of time than it did for the PS3. Whereas I think the PS3, it was like a 7 to 9 month process, where they're trying to knock it down to like 2 months. I probably have the numbers wrong, but I think that's actually really important for creating more great games.
How much of an effect would that have on the cost of a dev cycle? Because, you hear about skyrocketing development costs, but I wonder if it could, because you mentioned that dev cycles got longer last gen because of more difficulties in coding and programming. Is the cost more attributed to the cost of technology or the extra man hours?
I'm not so sure about that. I'm willing to bet, though, that by shortening the dev cycle, it is definitely going to lower the price. I mean, just, based on just, common sense.
Right, there would be certainly some kind of reduction in place. I'm just curious as to which direction, if strongly in either one, the cost was skewed into last gen.
Yeah, not so sure. I mean, but like I said, Cerny was big on the PS1 era, and he worked on the Spyro games, I believe. And if you look at the Spyro games, they all came out within like a year of each other.
I love those PS1 Spyro games.
They were really good.
The first one and the third one especially. But the first one, it holds a special place.
The
in
first
my
one was
heart.
my favorite, but you didn't like the second one that much?
The second one was decent, but I liked the third one better.
See, I thought the second was better than the third because it just introduced so many different gameplay elements that
was swimming introduced in the second one or the third one?
Yeah.
Second one? Okay. Yeah. No, I remember the third one still to this day really well, even though I haven't played it in years.
I think probably the best thing that Mark did in terms of what I think they did the right thing. Get rid of Ken Kutaragi. He's an idiot. He came up with the Cell idea, which was stupid.
Yeah, his whole philosophy seemed to be, I'm going to take a dump on your face and you're going to figure out what to do with it.
Yeah, and Mark Cerny, he's thinking like practical. Like they went with a beautiful architecture that just it's actually very much almost the same as the Xbox One architecture, but it's it's like a PC now. It's more or less just like a PC, whereas PlayStation never was like that before. And I think we're gonna see the benefit in games and the way games are developed. Because if you look at the PlayStation 3, it took years for them to start taking advantage of it and really showing what it was capable of. Most of the ports were inferior, for a long time, and now it's actually showing a lot of what it should have been capable of doing a long time ago.
Right. Yeah, no, some of the issues with the PS3 from a programming standpoint were really unprecedented. I mean, I had never heard prior to that, developers coming out of the woodwork complaining about how they hate programming for this thing and it's impossible. And we don't know if we're going to be able to put this game or this DLC out on this console because it's such a convoluted mess architecturally. And it seems like they really took that to heart and have gone completely other way.
I think one of the big things is Cerny was a developer, so he knows what developers want.
Mm-hmm.
So,
right, as opposed to like a CEO who doesn't necessarily know anything about anything.
Yeah, I mean, I like Jack Tretton, but there's a reason he's not in charge of the hardware.
Well, and Ken Kutaragi was such an egomaniac. It's just a nut, and it like he's kind of like the Itagaki of hardware,
Yeah.
I wonder if Itagaki really knows how crazy he is.
I don't think so.
I mean, part of me hopes it's a persona. I mean, it's entertaining, but I don't see how anyone can be that delusional, realistically.
No video game developers that is cool. Like, they're brilliant, not cool.
I'm just saying, anyone who wears sunglasses and leather jackets all the time and looks like an oatmeal cookie.
Oh, you said it, not me.
I'm not sure how he is the coolest guy in the world in his own mind. He must have a fun brain to live in, though, just because he's awesome no matter what.
Well, he would always say, like, he actually would say this over and over again. It is not about the gameplay. It's about, first of all, we make the girls look good, we make the breast physics work, and then we worry
But
about...
all his games had stupid breast physics.
I know. And every one of his games, the hair is plastic and it clips through the fucking body. So he was full of shit.
Were you guys around when I did? No, you guys weren't even on the forum when we first did the podcast and I did my Japanese impression.
Uh-oh.
Did you guys ever listen to those old ones?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Never mind.
Secret handshake time.
Yeah, okay. No, it's just because you did a quote from a Japanese developer and I was like, oh my god. I'm sure it'll come up before the end of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of quotes from Japanese developers, who was that guy? I think he does that. He does that handheld fighting game where the girls rip each other's clothes off. He had this amazing quote. Here. Okay, the guy. It's Senran Kagura. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correct, but what's his name? What is his name? It's like literally the greatest something Takaki here. It's the greatest fucking quote in video game history. Kenichiro Takaki. He says, and I quote, "Tits are life, ass is hometown."
Wow.
Because they asked him why he wanted to put the game on Vita. He said, because I wanted to make tits that could be licked.
Oh.
Wow, that's...
I remember SPF posted about it in the forum, and I'm just like, my God, what kind of fucking people do they have over in Japan where it's okay to say this in an interview?
That's something Chad would post.
It's so insanely quotable, though.
I mean,
tits are
yeah,
life,
but it's not
ass is
something that I
hometown.
want to quote to, like, normal people.
That's true. So what developers do you guys... did you look up to or whatever?
Oh, Naughty Dog.
This has changed a lot over recent years. Yeah, Naughty Dog is probably pretty high up on my lists lately.
I was more thinking individuals, but that's good too.
Individual game developer. Like, that's... The thing is, I don't really give a fuck about individual game developers. I just know about development studios. It's the same thing with bands. Like, some people, they know about the members of the bands. I don't really care. I just like their music.
I feel like certain devs kind of stand out though. Like everybody knows Gabe Newell,
Oh yeah.
you know, because he's fat.
Gabe Newell's a whiny asshole, but he's awesome.
Didn't he used to develop games?
Uh,
I don't know. Does he still do
tell
it? I don't know.
I'll tell you
Dude,
some.
he's the head honcho.
Uh,
Yeah.
um, John Carmack, because even though gameplay-wise, they haven't done anything revelatory since the early '90s. They have always innovated technologically. Like if you look at Doom 3, if you actually look at it now, it doesn't hold up that well. But at the time, what they did was they used the lighting, a really deep, advanced lighting model to hide the fact that there are very few polygons on the characters. Whereas Half-Life 2 went with the opposite. Half-Life 2 was all about high poly models, and actually it actually worked. It actually lasted longer. Like visually, if you look at Half-Life 2, it holds up better than Doom 3. But at the time, that was so John Carmack. But every year he actually just left id. But before he would do the QuakeCon, and he would do like a 1 or 2 hour keynote, which is just him droning on and on about technology, and it's fascinating if you have the attention span for it. But he
I was going to
talks
say the
about,
masochistic streak, but okay.
yeah, that's my masochistic streak, right?
I've never heard the word droning in a positive light.
Yeah, and yeah, I know, like it's negative / positive because he actually talks about other developers. He talks about the state of the industry. He talks about why it is that their games never come out on time. For one thing, id, they trying to get them all to work on one project and cooperate is like trying to bathe a cat. Like that's probably why he left. And but anyway, so he's one of them. And then there are people like, I mean, Miyamoto is kind of an obvious one, right? Because he, came up with all kinds of great ideas that, not really anymore, but now he's just living off the laurels of what he's done previously.
I gotta say, I do like Kojima. He's pretty cool.
He's a troll.
That's kind of why I like him. He's sort of
He's all right.
insane. He's kind of insane, and that's kind of why I like him.
Oh, come on. I say Kojima's all right and nobody understands what I'm referencing?
I saw that. I know what you're referencing.
Okay.
Wikipedia. Anyway.
I don't know. I haven't done. This is like the first podcast I've done in like over a year.
Yeah, it's been a good long while since I was involved in this as well.
You were both missed very much. I was alone
supposed
with the crazies.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be in the first podcast, and then I didn't go. I don't remember.
I really think that Spooey should make his Skype handle Fungus Among Us or something like that.
Why?
Because it made him crazy, living with all his fungus and mold.
Oh. His collection of games is going to mold and then like
They already
turn into
did.
some sort of creature.
Yep.
He had a bunch of like stuff
Sort of-
that got moldy in his basement from a flood or something. And the fact
That
that we're talking,
sucks.
you didn't realize the fact that we're talking about him now in the podcast thread, he's going to write a wall of text longer than a book in Skyrim.
To
It's
which we
funny.
can all happily reply
will
TLDR
correct-
and then move on.
Yeah.
He will correct
No, this is how I got infected with mold spores. Arrgh.
It's in my spine. I don't know how to feel anymore.
The mold made me tape every episode of X-Play ever.
He's definitely got a hoarding problem. I think it's,
Oh, Christ.
On today's
It's-
episode of Hoarders, the man who taped literally everything he ever saw.
it's like, oh, Mega Man. Yes, I have all of them. Except for those ones that you download. I don't like download titles. Oh, Spooey.
Oh. Kill me now.
Never mention a game in Spooey's presence. Because whenever you mention any game, no matter how obscure it is, he'll be like, oh, I have that. I've never opened it.
He even has that
It got
game,
moldy, but the plastic wrap saved it.
that shmup game where that side-scrolling shooter game with the old hillbilly on the front.
Mhm.
He even has that one.
He's got Custer's Revenge.
Oh,
Doodly-doo-doo-doo.
he's got Hot Wheels games. He's got Ben 10, I'm sure. I have the Goosebumps game. Pretty rare.
They made a game of that?
Yeah. It's
Really?
Yeah, it's actually kind of pedo because if you watch the opening cutscene, it's this green monster that pops out from behind the bush in the kid's yard, and like offers him these tickets to Horrorland to ride.
Oh shit, Horrorland! I knew it.
Yeah, and it's Goosebumps Horrorland, and you go there, you get stuck there, and you have to beat all the rides, and get tokens so that you can beat all the rides and then get the fuck out.
Interesting.
Sounds like fun.
I never heard about that. I only read the books, and I had a lot of them. Sadly, I sold them all during a yard sale.
Okay, so about the games that are coming either on the PS4 or the Xbox One, is there any that you're looking forward to?
There's nothing that stands out really head and shoulders above anything else, which is one of the reasons why I'm not especially interested at this point in time.
But apparently part of the Xbox One marketing was the most exclusive. But like we were discussing earlier, like there's a lot of multi-platform saying. At least from what I saw on the PS4 side was that at least 2 of these new IPs are actually remakes. What's that about?
You know, there's only one remake I really, really want to see, and that's, you know what it is, Astral.
KOTOR.
No.
What?
Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, right.
Okay, listen.
I mean, yeah,
I'm
KOTOR
about
would be
to
good too,
explain
because that
why
was a
a
primitive
remake
as
of
shit
Final
movie.
Fantasy VII is the worst idea of all time.
I've
I
heard
don't
every
even need many
explanation
words to
for
do
it,
it.
and I still don't
Listen,
give
I'm not even
a
gonna. I don't
shit.
even need many words. I'm just gonna say
Yeah, I
Square
may
Enix
even-
is complete fucking shit right now, and they're probably going to continue to be till the end of time. And I don't want them
But here's the
touching
thing.
Final Fantasy VII, ever.
The game has already been made. All they
I
have
am
do
going
is
to
update the
stab you,
tech.
Ryan.
That's
I am
it.
going to stab you.
Ryan, you know what the sad part
They
about
would. They
that is?
wouldn't do that though. They're not going to do it. If they were going to remake it, they would probably turn it into a steaming pile of shit.
Ryan, you know what? The sad part is they said exactly what you said, but without the swearing.
I know, they admitted themselves. They said, yeah, we kind of suck. No, we couldn't actually live up to the quality anymore.
I happen to,
It's-
to actually think they're I think Square Enix is my favorite publisher, but I understand what
Developer-wise, though,
you're saying. No, they're probably somewhere middling right now. But I mean, I loved Final Fantasy 13, so I mean, I had problems with it, but I still loved it.
really?
Oh yeah.
How did okay? Allow me to segue this question. How do you feel about Lightning Returns?
Well, first of all, I think the fact that they did 2 sequels in close succession, probably not a great idea. I think they should have just left it at 13, but they decided to do a trilogy, which I think was kind of a cash-in. I don't know what that's about anyway. But Lightning, it looks good. I don't really care. I liked 13 for what it was, but
I only remember 2 things about Lightning Returns. First, that I'm really interested to see what happened to Noel and what happened to Snow, that they kind of turn over to the dark side, and there's probably fan theories about how that happened going on around. And second, all the fucking bitching on Tumblr about Lightning Boost actually behaving like boobs. Like it's not dead of alive type of crazy, but apparently there's a little jiggle. But
Wait, you mean to tell me
people on
that
Tumblr-
things made primarily of fat tissues jiggle?
No, they
apparently-
very stiff.
apparently,
and-
This is shocking.
appa- No, no. The thing is that there were no physics in that area on the female character, or maybe a little bit. What was it? What was her face? Vanille, but apparently, the collective of Tumblr is bitching about Lightning being degraded into fan service. I don't know what's that all about.
anyone who mentions degraded, anyone who whines about being degraded in Final Fantasy or any such JRPG, should just shut up now, because that's the whole
I tend
point.
not to listen.
Everyone in those games is ridiculously impossibly good looking. Like, none of it is remotely realistic or should be looked at it that way.
Oh.
Yeah, the only thing that Square Enix has going for right now, at least in my opinion, definitely Kingdom Hearts 3. I am so fucking looking forward to that game. I mean, it's been like 8 years. No, hold on. Last Kingdom Hearts in console was 2006. It has been 8 long years. I need a new Kingdom Hearts on my console. Actually,
what the fuck?
Actually,
You calm down, Jesus Christ! What the fuck is going on?
I am
Like, that was a
passionate
really
about this
long
topic.
thing you
Listen,
just did, and I'm just like,
I am
what is
passionate about these
happening?
topics. I am passionate about these topics.
Kingdom Hearts.
Oh
I
my
don't know if
God.
passionate is the word I would use to describe that. I was thinking more along the lines of unhinged.
Furious. It sounded furious at everything not Kingdom Hearts.
Diarrhea? What the fuck? Okay. So yeah, next gen gaming.
I really think
I
that
have been
you
reading
should
something
be barred from
about.
talking about Kingdom Hearts now, because that was just kind of outrageous.
No, I am not. I am not gonna submit myself to anybody's enjoyment. So let's continue talking about next gen gaming.
Okay. I'll continue.
How about? Yeah, you want to say something, Astro?
Yes. You were asking what we were looking for in terms of Xbox games or whatever, or what exclusives.
Okay.
Yes, Dead Rising 3, which is amazing because they've just added more shit, added more zombies, more cool possibilities, awesome graphics, and then Forza 5 because I love Forza, and
I have still yet to pick that game up.
yes, so those are the two that I want.
I want another Burnout.
Yeah, see, the problem with
Never
Dead
gonna-
Rising 3 is that it's made by Crapcom, and they will not get my money ever.
It's not made by Capcom.
Hey,
Listen,
man.
they're getting money. I don't give a crap. I mean, okay. Listen, I don't care who actually, was involved in creating the game. I care who's marketing the game, who's making money from it, and I will not give money to Crapcom.
So what specifically is the problem with Capcom?
Mega Man Legends 3. That's
I
what's
don't
wrong
give a
with Capcom.
fuck about Mega Man. So
No, listen. Doesn't matter if you care. Doesn't matter if you care about Mega Man. Doesn't matter. But the fact is, they announced that they were going to make the game. Then they canceled it, and then told the fans, "Oh, it's your fault because you weren't involved enough." Which is fucking outrageous. You don't blame the people who wanted something for don't make them the reason why they're not getting it. That's bullshit.
I think the only reason
That
I would ever boycott Capcom is because of that horrific Street Fighter rendition of Mega Man, the tubby guy, the fat guy. I mean, that was more traumatic than Vin Diesel is Mega Man. You remember that one?
I remember that one.
Yeah.
if it is who I'm thinking about, then yes. But well, in Capcom, just like if for some reason they make their old franchises cash cows, like I'm pretty sure they'll re-release Resident Evil 4 on the Xbox One and the PS4 for like for like the 5th time now. I don't know.
next gen graphics and it still sucks.
Yeah, all that next gen graphics, dog. But
I remember that
let's
picture.
see.
This summer, Vin Diesel is.
But really, I suppose my main issue with Capcom, I mean, I don't, have a super high opinion of them, but my main issue with them was how they passed off Devil May Cry to Ninja Theory for that reboot. Because I quite liked the fourth one and the third one. I know the fourth one, was kind of polarizing, but I thought it was really good. And it actually sold pretty well. So I don't know what the hell they were doing or what they were thinking, but I wasn't too happy with them.
The only Devil May Cry game that I played throughout completion was Devil May Cry 4, and at least to me, there was nothing about it that stood out. It feels like I'm just bottom mashing my way to victory.
You need to
So,
play on really high difficulty in order to really have fun with a Devil May Cry game.
Apparently soon. But what exactly was the issue with that you had with DMC? Because that's actually a game I'm probably gonna get around to picking up soon.
It
It wasn't
like,
as fun to me from a combat perspective as 3 and 4 were.
well, it looks like it's made for edgy teenagers.
Well, yeah, and there was the whole, we're gonna throw characters that everyone likes out the window and reinvent them for more of a modern, cool look or whatever the fuck they were trying to do.
Plus the self-insert.
But wasn't that
Don't
Devil
forget
May
the
Cry
self-insert.
made too?
Yeah, that dude looked just. Wait, what were you saying, Tyson?
That it wasn't with that market they had in mind from the very beginning when they developed the franchise. I mean, I'm not trolling, but that's my impression.
That what?
Rawr.
That Devil May Cry was actually made with that kind of market, the edgy teenager, as you describe it in mind.
I wouldn't really say so. It was far too goofy, too tongue in cheek, too over the top for that market.
Crazy.
Exactly. That was what made it fun. Was that it was just goofy and completely self-aware and just had fun. Its selling point, apart from being a lot of fun to play, was that it was just fun and it didn't try to be anything else.
Like breaking the fourth wall kind of ceiling.
It doesn't really
or-
break the fourth wall so much as it knows it's ridiculous and it embraces that it's ridiculous and just goes with it.
Okay.
By the way, I actually just recently bought DMC because it was on for like $12.49 on Steam, and
Okay.
I think I haven't played it yet, but I'll get back to you on that. I'll tell you what I think of it. But anyway, I think one of the things is like Ninja Theory has never been good with combat ever. If you look at this, may be good. I haven't played it, but if you look back at what was that Heavenly Sword?
That was not a very good game.
Yeah, and then I didn't like the combat in what is that, Odyssey to the West, or what is that game?
Enslaved Odyssey to the
yeah.
West. I think that's the name.
Enslaved. I didn't like the combat in that, so I'm hoping that this will be good. But will it be good as Capcom Studio? I don't think so. Oh, by the way,
Right. Between Devil May Cry and Bayonetta, Capcom is basically like confirmed the best at combat.
Sarge, you'll be happy to know that the creator of DMC has said he would like to do another one. So that'll be him making it.
Another one in the same line as the Japanese ones that came out?
Yes.
Okay,
I'm
good.
sure. He would.
Well, that would be nice. I would appreciate that because I liked the new protagonist Nero that they introduced. I think that he can be expanded and made more interesting because he was, compared to Dante, he was very basic and very easy to control. But yeah, I think Devil May Cry is. It's really for people with like a particular taste as far as action games go. It opens up a great amount of depth in the combat and it allows you to be extremely creative and it's just a lot of fun.
That's actually the same praise that I heard from Bayonetta, but at least to me, was a very hard game to get into.
Yeah, Bayonetta was
Like-
the same way. Very good combat. I mean, the game itself is even more ludicrous than Devil May Cry, but the combat had the same level of quality.
I mean, I can get past the fact that that Bayonetta is basically the Bayonetta's clothes are basically done with her hair. Like I'm not really concerned about that, but it's just that the type of difficulty, the type of action, I guess it's just not really to my taste. I rented it twice. Like the first, I was really getting frustrated with it, and I gave it back, and then I tried it a second time to see if I could not only get past that part, but actually try to, in a way, force myself to like the game. But I just couldn't. Like it's not my type of game. But contrast that to Devil May Cry, which I am. Not that I find it hard to get into, but nothing standed out. But at least I did finish the game. Unlike Bayonetta, like in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
But at least that's how I felt. Also, you guys were talking earlier about Metal Gear, and I wanted to add that for me it's difficult to get excited about Metal Gear Solid 5. I I don't know what is it. Is it probably the fact that I haven't seen much. I'm just not that interested into Metal Gear because I did feel that Metal Gear Solid 4 was appropriate closure
Right.
to the Metal Gear Solid franchise. And then I don't want to think this is Kojima's fault, but rather Konami telling Kojima, "You gotta make more Metal Gear Solid games," and I think that's bullshit. Seriously, I think that's bullshit because even though the studio that made Metal Gear is handling it, probably some rookies on the team and whatnot, but if they keep doing this, there will come a time in which they will fuck up Metal Gear, and I don't want that. I don't want to see that. It would truly hurt me as a fan, I guess you could
I
say.
don't know, Metal Gear is sort of it makes its money by being this incredibly convoluted, self-serious thing that it's hard to screw it up. Like as long as you make your plot, really political, and you throw out a lot of modern political buzzwords, and you make it super convoluted and hard to understand, and melodramatic, then you've got a Metal Gear game. But I mean, I do agree that the fourth one, like, it went out of its way to sort of tie everything up with a nice, neat little bow, even though it just had that whole graveyard thing that was confusing as fuck. It was like a Metal Gear Solid 2 Redux, where at the end of the game, it just throws another piece of information at you that leaves you going, what?
Yeah.
But I mean, apart from that, it really it's like, no, it's over, it's done. Metal Gear is done, and they're like, here comes the fifth one.
Yeah. And that's exactly it because at least from what I've seen, there haven't been games in the official Metal Gear canon that have been going past 4. Maybe except Metal Gear Rising, but that's another topic entirely. But it's like Kojima, really, you don't have to explain every single fucking detail in the Metal Gear universe, because at first Metal Gear wasn't confusing. It's just like sneak into enemy base, destroy Metal Gear, get the fuck out. Like,
well,
I
that was
think
Metal Gear
when
Solid
it started
1.
getting when it started getting convoluted was in Metal Gear Solid 2, because from what I take, Kojima was going for a certain cyberpunk type of story writing, and that's when it really made it convoluted, and then it kind of forced his hand to just continue making it convoluted. Even though for me the Metal Gear games have been easy to follow, mostly because I played them. Like Metal Gear Solid 3 wasn't that convoluted, except when you're trying to find meaning to kind of like the Cobra's superpowers, trying to explain them. And like you mentioned, Metal Gear Solid 4 just tied it all up in a nice knot. But I guess that's it. And the latest bitching on the internet is about Quiet, which is for all accounts Sniper Wolf's mother, from what I can see.
I've only played. Well, I've played 1, 2, and 4. I've only played little bits of 3. I didn't like it all that much. I mean, I have seen the story all the way through, and I thought that, you know how when people are always saying, "I love the ending to Metal Gear Solid 3. It was I cried and blah blah." I thought it was kind of cheesy. I didn't really like it that much.
It is a very sentimental scene because the overall arching theme for Metal Gear Solid 3 is mother and son. And at least that's the appeal of that game to me. I can overlook all the gameplay flaws in terms of that story, because it really hit deep within me, because like I was one of the people that cried when Snake had to kill the boss. But I guess that's the beauty of video games, when stories can make you feel that involved in that. I don't know. At least to me, it's difficult to make me cry over a video game. But
Well, maybe
Metal
that
Gear Solid
explains
3
it.
definitely did it.
Maybe I didn't like it, or didn't feel any impact, because I don't like my mom. That might be it.
Probably probably doesn't
Interesting.
matter. So, so no, there any funny stories you want to tell us? I guess we're big.
I am not
We're
a
a big-
performing
we're-
monkey. You can't just play a
Well,
song and
Entertain
don't
us.
dance around with a cup.
Entertain us, no there.
Um,
Mhm.
see, you put me on the spot, and now I don't know what to say.
We did.
Well,
Brought this
well,
point.
Okay, well then tell me this: how do you feel about Kiefer Sutherland replacing David Hayter?
I really, the last Metal Gear Solid game I played was 2. I have 3 and 4, and I have to play them, but I have yet to do that. I don't think I like Kiefer Sutherland. If you've ever seen Dark City, I thought he was really good in that movie.
I have seen Dark City. That's a good movie.
It's one of my favorites. But I don't think when I think Solid Snake, I absolutely do not think Kiefer Sutherland. I
Right.
think David Hayter, and I think what they want is someone who is more experienced with actual acting, because they're probably going to do some like facial
Okay, yeah.
scanning stuff. But at the same time, I really don't think that the voice is going to match up very well. And I understand it's not the same Snake. You know, it's Naked Snake. He's not Big Boss. He's not Solid Snake. He's a completely different dude. But
No, no. Apparently, hold
just-
on. Let me correct that.
What?
As far as I know, you are controlling Big Boss before the whole outer having uprisal. So in a way, you're still controlling Big Boss. But I guess that David Hayter,
I thought there were two of them.
like no, huh?
They
They didn't even ask him.
No, they didn't ask him. He was completely left out of the loop. He found out one day that they were making the
So
game and he wasn't
basically, that's
involved.
kinda
And,
bullshit.
yeah. And he called them up and
Yeah,
he's
but
like, hey, what's going on? And they're like, oh, you're not involved. And he's like, what? I mean, he basically, got dumped without even a call, which was pretty lame.
The thing,
It
the
is pretty
thing
lame.
that could justify only because not only the mocapping, but probably Kojima wants for Big Boss because at that stage he's like really old, and apparently David Hayter's voice range kind of like doesn't go to where they want with Big Boss, or they just want to differentiate it because if anything, David Hayter would have to make a scruffy, deep voice for making an old man, but it would probably be way too similar to Old Snake. I could see if I see it like that, it makes sense.
Well, if one
Even
is a
though I'm
clone
not
of the
happy
other,
with
it
David
makes
Hayter.
sense, though.
Yeah, if I don't necessarily agree with it because like many others, when I see Snake, I think David Hayter. But if I look at it that way, it makes sense. So Sarge, Sarge, now that you're a PC player, I don't know if this is your type of game, but what do you think about Titanfall? I mean, it's gonna be on Xbox One, Xbox 360, and gonna be in PC too.
I couldn't tell you a thing about it.
It's basically
Call of Duty
from
with
what I,
giant robots.
It's what?
It's Call of Duty with giant robots.
With giant robots.
mostly because
huh?
mostly because it is handled by the old Call of Duty staff, all the Infinity War staff. But from what I've seen on the trailers and whatnot, it really gives me I don't know if you guys played it. There's a robot game on the original Xbox called Mech Warrior.
Yeah,
Really enjoy
Mech
that
Warrior is a
game.
pretty famous PC series.
I think maybe I'm thinking of the wrong game, but it has something to do with mechs as well. But it kind of gave me that vibe, and I could see them.
Well, if
pulling
you
this
tell
off.
me Call of Duty with giant robots, I basically think Mech Warrior with lots of slow-mo sequences.
I don't know if Titanfall has been confirmed to have a single player. It's probably gonna be like Unreal Tournament or something. That kind of stuff.
Oh, so
But,
well, Unreal Tournament actually has a single-player mode, but so it's it's just an online game. I generally don't go for those. I'm not I'm not as much of a multiplayer gamer as I used to be. I still have games that I will play, but I'm pretty picky about it, and I tend to prefer single player.
Okay. Let's just cover one last game before we wrap up this. Assassin's Creed. How do you feel about that series and the upcoming game that's gonna come out?
I got burned out with Revelations. I never finished it. Never played the third one. Not really interested in the fourth one.
Ryan?
The second one, the first one. I hated the first one. The second one was okay, but I don't think that it really inspired me to want to play another one. Like, it was okay, it's like...
I need to finish the first one sometime because the first one was really hard to get into. It would be new IP being at all, but the combat was actually kind of repetitive.
The first one can be a bit of a chore at times.
Yeah, and it is a chore because it mostly, I think, at the part when the game forced me to collect feathers to actually progress, I'm like, hell no, hell no. And then Assassin's Creed 2 came out and made the feathers optional, and I had my fun with that game. Assassin's Creed in Assassin's the whole Ezio story, it was one that I enjoy, although by Revelations I was like, Ubisoft, please don't make another game about Ezio. And then came Assassin's Creed 3, which I was in the middle of playing it, but I never got to finish it because I think that was about the time that I had to give up my GameFly subscription, and then I had to return Assassin's Creed 3. As the fourth one goes, I really don't have anything to say about it. Not really. I could pick it up when I finish Assassin's Creed 3, but as being a mega fanboy or excited about it, I'm at this point like meh. So
have they been like furthering the actual plot line of those games at all? Like the ones that are outside of the whatever thing?
Yes, they have been.
Okay. I mean, I feel like
yeah,
that's a long ass fucking plot.
Right, no, it is. And
for all these games.
It makes no apologies for being long-winded, which is something I can kind of appreciate. But yeah, the first one actually doesn't really do much in terms of plot progression of things outside the game. But then the second one does a lot. The third one does more than Revelations. Assassin's Creed 2, by the way, is my favorite in the series. I think it's a really good game.
Definitely.
But yeah, no, the third one, Revelations, keeps on going, but I never finished it.
Okay. I played the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I tried very hard to get past the part where I had to pickpocket a dude.
The first one is awful. Don't don't apologize. It's really bad.
In general, I thought it was decent. I didn't mind it so much.
You know,
I hate it.
I think the first game was very. It was. I'll give you this. It was very unpolished, and there weren't enough activities. You were just doing the same shit over and over again. However, the platforming was par excellence. It was the best platforming, probably in any game of that type. And I think that the horseback stuff was great. You know, and the story was good. And I wish I could have gotten past that one part, but I got pretty far into the game. But so I haven't played. I have Brotherhood and AC2, but I haven't played them yet, as per usual. And but to skip all the way to 4, that I'm really looking forward to. And I didn't think I would, because I feel like they've got a serious case of sequelitis there. And but with the Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, they've really developed the ship combat and the ship exploration aspect, and on the next gen platforms and on PC it looks amazing. I've seen the PC version. It looks more or less like the Xbox One and PS4.
I really had to wonder why they are calling it like a standalone in the series when, from what I heard, it's kind of like continuing. It's kind of like exploring another side of not exactly Connor, but in Assassin's Creed 3, you were playing like the first probably 2 hours of the game as one of the guys from the Templars, and then the rest you play as Connor. Apparently, what they wanted to do with Assassin's Creed 4 was develop a little bit more on the Templar guy, but I don't know why they're treating it as a independent.
This one's just pure pirate stuff. So I don't know, but
Is there a button that lets you say R matey whenever you press it?
no, and there's no Doug button, so that's
No,
not...
but there is a fuck off button.
Oh yeah.
There's no Doug button, but there is a fuck off button.
Well, so anyway, but the game has, they said 80 hours of content. Now, just cut that in half, and that's probably what it is. That's really good though. Like, and there's many little islands that you can find, and once you discover those islands, you can find all kinds of shit on them. Treasure, probably quests, who knows? But there's lots
Wenches?
of probably wenches. Probably have to go to Tortuga to find the wenches. But it's Blackbeard's in it, and if you have a Blackbeard in your game, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm totally gonna get it on PC. Totally.
All right. So we're just coming up about the end of the Gcast. Thank you guys for attending, and for everybody else out there, thanks for listening.
You're the boss.
Say your goodbyes. I am the boss of you.
Mutiny.
No, you're really not.
Mutiny.
You're not even
Really,
an
you're not,
American. What are you?
Yeah.
I have an American passport.
Listen,
So
I'm
I
gonna
am
go on the
American.
forum right now, and I'm gonna ban you, and there's nothing you can do.
It's Puerto Rico.
Nothing you can do
Don't use your
about
plural, Howard. All right, say your goodbyes.
Bye-bye.
Hasta luego.
Now she been fucked up like a mother, and now I gotta babysit. Shit, I was trying to take her out, take her home and hit. She was cute, I was trying to just get some love. Now she wanna pick a fight with some chick in the club. I gotta break it up, break it up. I gotta break it up, break it up. They asked us to leave, but she says please, not until I finish these.